Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in, Winning Cures Everything. It is the Wednesday, December 1st edition of the show. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And Chris, you got a new coach, don't you?
Finally got a new coach. That's right.
Not too shabby. We will discuss that here momentarily. Let me go on and get the rundown out of the way, make sure I actually say it at the beginning of the podcast tonight. WinningCuresEverything.com is the website. You can find everything you need to know about us over there, including how to subscribe on the podcast, how to subscribe on YouTube. We are just a few subscribers away from hitting our goal that we were hoping to hit by the Super Bowl. 5,000 subscribers we wanted to hit by the Super Bowl, and we're going to hit it right here at the end of college football season. So not too shabby. Not too shabby. We've been building this up for a little while, but we're rocking and rolling on there. Obviously, the podcast took off first, but the YouTube was not far behind. So we are rolling on that. Along with that, go over to BetUS. They are America's premier sportsbook, online sportsbook anyway. Go to BetUS.com. You can sign up there. There is a link in the description. Make sure that you sign up and start gambling. I mean, we still got plenty of college football left, plenty of NFL left, and, of course, a ton of other sportsbook options there as well. Heisman Trophy coming up, all that good stuff. So check it out there. I host the BetUS College Football Show. Still many, many shows to go with that. Chris hosts the Bookmaker Review College Football Show. There is a link in the description for that one as well. So go ahead and check both of those out. Chris, I want to start off with some nuggets first. The first thing on the board here, we have got a contract extension with Kentucky and Mark Stoops, excuse me, for any Kentucky fan that decides to get irritated about that. So many Stoopses. There's way too many Stoopses. No news on the money, but I would imagine that he is being well compensated, well taken care of after another 9-win season, and maybe a 10-win season. But the details on this is again, what he already had before, a guaranteed 1-year extension for any season of 7 to 9 wins and a guaranteed 2-year extension for any season of 10 or more wins. It's in the process of being finalized, at which point Kentucky will release the financial terms. Stoops is only 54 years old. He's 58-53 in 9 seasons, and they are headed to their 6th consecutive bowl game. What he's done in Lexington is nothing short of impressive. You got a thought on this one?
Yeah, it shocked me actually that he signed it. It says to me that he is not getting looks at any of these other jobs available. And so if you're not going to get a bigger job, then at a place where he's hit his ceiling and he's done unbelievably well, and I think he's got them rocking and rolling. I don't think that's a knock to say that. Go ahead and get locked up, get as much money as you can. Coaches are about to get paid, and these contracts are about to look stupid.
I don't know that it necessarily means that he wasn't getting looked at some of these bigger jobs. It could possibly mean that he is completely comfortable with what he's got going on.
There's zero chance of that. There's absolutely zero chance. When I'm talking other jobs, if Oklahoma was interested in him, there's no way on earth he'd sign this contract.
I don't know. We might.
No, there's no chance, Gary. There's no chance.
We might have to disagree on this one because I think he may not want to go to Oklahoma because that's where Bob was. I mean, why go in your brother's shadow? Like that's horrible.
No, but that's not a shadow thing. No one cares about shadows. All these guys care about is winning. Okay, and you have to move heaven and earth to try to win 9-10 games with building what you've built. When Oklahoma has the resources and the facilities and the recruiting trail and the local talent to be able to do that much easier.
You are definitely not wrong on that. The next one that I wanted to hit on, Urban Meyer says that he is not interested in any college football opening. He is not interested in returning to the game of college football. He wants to keep building the Jaguars. So he says that he will not be the next Notre Dame head coach. Do you buy any of this?
Oh, yeah. I do not think this is So this is the one job in the country where I do not think he is being asked to this. This is one of those scenarios where I'm not taking Cindy Crawford to the prom. I just want to let everybody know. Well, guess what? She ain't asking. Okay, I think media people like that because long ago he was thought of as a Notre Dame guy and a Notre Dame dream guy. But think about when that was, and think about what has happened. I'm not talking about this last situation where he was clearing the snorkel under some girl grinding on his crotch. I'm talking about all the shit that he's been through and done and been a part of since then. Way before then, he is not a Notre Dame man. He is not the guy Notre Dame wants. Notre Dame wants to win. They care about winning, but they don't care about winning enough to ruin the brand of Notre Dame. They never have. They never will.
I do not disagree with
when
that.
we get into the reasons Kelly left, okay, we will get into the reasons when I tell you some of the things that Notre Dame refuses to bend on to try and help them recruit better. There's no way on earth, a guy like Urban could survive in that place and be successful, but also there's no way a place with that type of rules would ever accept a guy like Urban today.
I tend to agree. Now, speaking of, good guys, we'll hit on that one. Jim Harbaugh is donating his bonus money from his, from this season at Michigan, which, for those that don't remember, they basically cut his salary in half and made his contract much more incentive-laden. And this year, of course, you win the Big Ten, you get to the college football playoff, you possibly win a national title, you win any kind of Coach of the Year awards, anything like that, and we're talking about an extra $3 million that he could earn on top of his $4 million base pay, and he is donating it all back to Michigan for them to distribute among the people that had to be furloughed, people that had to be let go, all that good stuff in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic during the 2020 season. I thought it was really cool. You don't see this kind of stuff all that often. This guy has earned this money, and he's giving it back, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I do too. I've been the one apologist that I know of for Jim Harbaugh for a long time. He's a cantankerous dude. He is a difficult guy to get along with and to be around for long periods of time. But those he's in the tank with, he loves.
And you got that right.
And he cares. I do not think he took the pay cut to stay at Michigan as an insult or a slap in the face or anything of that nature. I think he took the pay cut because he thought it was the right thing to do in the situation that the school was in financially, with other people taking big pay cuts that don't make very much money.
And also, he maybe, from what I had heard, he did not feel like he was living up to his end of the bargain when they brought him in.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. He wants to earn it.
Yeah,
but I also think he's realized if I'm going to be in the college game, and these kids are just now getting money. When he went through the pay cut and stuff, they weren't getting anything. I believe there is a lot of him realizing I can't make what I was making in the pros. It's a different world here. I don't care what my peers are doing. I just can't make that.
Yeah, no, that certainly makes sense. All right, the first main topic that I want to hit today, we got off of the Nuggets. The first main topic, I want your reaction, because obviously I came on and did a little bonus episode yesterday to try and sort through all of the different stuff that happened on Monday and Sunday. But I want your reaction to the two big ones. I want your reaction on Brian Kelly to LSU, and then after that I want you to tell me about Lincoln Riley going to USC.
Well, no. Let's start with Lincoln. Let's start chronologically and let's tell the story. Okay, let's go in order of what had happened. All right. My reaction to Lincoln was the greatest breath of fresh air. There's nobody more suited for LA and Hollywood than Lincoln Riley, who I believe is a person of great talent, which you will find all over Los Angeles. But he's also about an inch deep in depth of a human being. Okay, so this is what I think of him as an individual, and I am thrilled that he is not my coach. And I also think he's the perfect fit for LA and USC. And I think he will do what he did at Oklahoma. He'll do the same thing at USC. I think he will win lots of games. He will get them back to competing for and winning. Maybe not as dominant as he was in the Big 12, but competing for more regular than USC has been, winning more often than they have, obviously, in the last 10 years, and get back to getting to the playoffs. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that there is nothing he can do at USC any different than Oklahoma to win in the playoffs. Until I just have to see it to be proven wrong. The man has never had a team that played defense at all. The only time his defense has ever looked good is when his opponents were completely inept at offense. That's it. That's the list.
We did see Oklahoma State do better on offense against them than Oklahoma State has maybe played all season. Right? It sans the Kansas game. But Oklahoma State had all kind of things drawn up for them, and Oklahoma couldn't stop them. And, I mean, it's exactly what we expected. So, yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
I like that hire for them. I love that he ran away from the SEC. The reason his name was coming up for jobs, and people just assumed the LSU job, was because there were very much rumblings that he was not happy about Oklahoma going to the SEC. This is a man who knows he's playing the game. And okay, you could say, oh, he's smart. Why pick the fight with the biggest bully in the room? Well, you're comparing that to people in a classroom and picking a fight with somebody where you don't have to pick a fight with anybody. You could just go throughout your life. If you're going to compete in athletics, if you're going to compete in football, this isn't picking fights with the biggest bully in the room. This is at some point in time you have to beat those guys. Okay? And it's a lot easier to prepare to beat them playing tough level of competition all the time than it is not, because we see these guys get into the playoffs playing weak opponents year in and year out, and they get steamrolled. Clemson is the only team to have not done that. The year Oklahoma made it, Ohio State made it and won, they went through a dogfight that year to get where they got. Okay? And it prepared them for playoff football. I just believe that that's important.
I tend to agree with you on that. So that moves us.
My coach,
go ahead.
My coach did the opposite of that. My coach made the playoffs 3 of the last, I don't know, not playoff. One of them was the BCS Bowl.
Two of the last 3. Yeah.
And then he made 2 of the last 3 playoffs, okay? He's competed for the national title 3 different times and realized, I can't win. I can't beat those guys with the situation I have in South Bend. I have to go join them if I want to beat them. And I want a championship on my resume. Brian Kelly is the most successful coach that's ever been hired in at LSU. Remember that. Hear that when people criticize this hire.
I don't believe anybody that knows what they're talking about should be criticizing this, right?
Well, but you're quantifying knows what they're talking about and being a fan aren't the same thing ever, usually. So that's tough.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of LSU people that are criticizing this pick, hate it. There's a lot of them because they only see the championship games. Here's what's weird. Those same people wanted Lincoln Riley, who got blowed out in the playoffs, but they don't want Brian Kelly because he got blowed out in the playoffs. The difference is Lincoln is recruiting the exact same guys LSU and Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Clemson have, and Notre Dame doesn't have a soul that was really being recruited by any of those guys, and 80% of the players on Notre Dame's team, none of the kids on those other 4 or 5 colleges could get into Notre Dame. All right? That's the difference.
Yes. If you look at what LSU has done in the past, a lot of people talk about wanting like that cultural fit, and I've even mentioned it on our show multiple times.
You use that word all the time, and it drives me insane.
But this is one of those instances where the program is bigger than just a cultural fit, right? A cultural fit can get you so far. Brian Kelly is an absolutely incredible head coach, and we saw this. You have seen what a good coach can do at LSU, and when Nick Saban came in there, he set that program up forever because they figured out how to do it. And it had kind of gone off course a little bit over the last, couple of years. You bring in a guy that is structured, that knows what he's doing, LSU is set. Like, and not just for the next, 10 years plus, however long Brian Kelly's there, but that organization is going to be set up well beyond. I mean, we're talking decades.
Yeah. This is a guy with an unbelievable resume. Now, let's remember back. Oh man, Gary, we've been doing this for 5 years, 6 years maybe.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
The first 2 years of us doing this, I hated Brian Kelly. I despised him, not as a coach, and I always made this qualification. I think he's an exceptional coach, and I always have. I did not appreciate him as a man at all. I said a lot of the same things I'm saying about Lincoln Riley. He didn't do some of the things Riley did, but he never took personal responsibility for the losses. He never took personal responsibility for the mistakes. And if you know that is the one crawl that will get me more than anything else. And then something happened, and he got sat down by, people at Notre Dame. And he just kind of changed. And I don't know if anybody sat him down or if he just saw himself in the mirror and realized this is kind of a distasteful person.
I think it was the 2017 season. I think it was that season where they went 4-8, and he had to figure out, okay, how can I better relate to these players? He completely overhauled his coaching staff. Everything changed, and after that happened,
but him as a man, like, he started taking accountability for things. He started handling situations so much better, and I never ever assuming he was going to be my coach. Over the last at least 2 years, and really 3 years, I've come on this show every week, and I have been a Notre Dame fan. I have defended him to the end because I appreciate people who have evolved. I appreciate people being fuck-ups in their lives in the past and changing, because I've been that. And I like to think that I have changed for the better. I like to think that I am a better man today than I was 10 years ago. And I just think that's a real important thing. Not enough people do it. And I think I watched Brian Kelly do it. And I don't say this because he's my coach today, because I've been saying this for 2 or 3 years. And if you go back 5 years ago, please don't. The audio quality, the things that we sounded like were awful. You don't need to. Take me at my word. I hated him. I crushed him. Every week on this show, I crushed him as a person.
Yeah. I mean, you did.
So I love the hire. You cannot imagine it. He does. He checks all the boxes for me. I think first off, he's the third winningest coach in college football right now. The other two guys have a decade of coaching on him. Okay, that's Nick Saban and Mac Brown. All right, he's 60. Those guys are 70. They've got a decade. They've got 10 years of coaching ahead of him. They're the only ones out in front of him. That's it. Nobody else is close.
Now, you are not wrong about that. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what he can do in Baton Rouge. I'm curious about the coaching staff, whether or not he's going to be able to bring Marcus Freeman. Who knows?
Yeah, that's where I'm getting. That's where I'm getting greedy. I want Freeman. I will tell you, people who criticize the fit for recruiting purposes wise, they need to realize this. The last 2 years, he's come into Louisiana, and he's taken 4 stars out of the state and got them into Notre Dame.
Yeah,
okay?
No, he's got
this
some.
Is not,
Notre
this
Dame
is not
has,
a guy that does not. He vetted this job, so his name was thrown out there as he was on the short list of people that got called day one.
Oh, okay? Yeah, so you and I talked about it. Like, we talked about this early in October.
Reports are coming out now that he closely vetted the job because he has ties in Louisiana from his recruiting here in the high school coaching realm. And he turned the job down, okay? And the only reason that he accepted it now is simply because, I think he feels like if I'm 11-1 in the SEC, I'm going to the playoffs. And 11-1, I need 3 people to lose for me to get into the playoff now. B, he also got thrown a metric shit ton of money that the richest school in college football ain't paying him. And that's hard to deal with. And he said a couple of weeks ago, I'm not leaving unless the fairy godmother comes and drops a ton of money at my feet and then I got to ask my wife. And the fairy godmother came. And then you got to ask your wife. And if she says, let's pack our shit, then you pack your shit.
Yes. I tend to believe that Baton Rouge is a nicer place to live than South Bend, Indiana, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah. Well, and recruiting in Baton Rouge is obviously a much easier thing to do. He's moving heaven. The idea that he has a top 5 recruiting class coming in the next year is unbelievable, because you just don't get that note. They do not have the facilities everybody else has. Their players still eat. They still eat in the cafeteria with everyone else. And you say, oh, well, that's no big deal. No. The reason that's a big deal, and these are things Brian Kelly was fighting for to try to get, was extended meal times for his guys, because they wouldn't give them their own food facility. Because after practice, the players that needed treatment couldn't get, they either had to choose get treatment or go eat. And he had players early in his career that were losing weight, large amounts of weight, from offensive and defensive linemen during the season, because they were getting treatment after practice that they had to get, and they missed meal time, so they weren't eating dinner. And that's not good. And Notre Dame will not budge on those things. They want these kids, the freshmen, don't come in and live in some badass athletic facility. Oh, no. They come in and they live with everybody else. They go into the freshman dorm in General Pop, and it's not a hellscape. Okay, my freshman dorm was a prison, except for I didn't have to worry about being gang raped in my dorm room. It was a concrete brick wall, and I shared a shower with 19 other guys. Like, it was anything but comfortable. But that's not this. But what it is it's not what everyone else has either. Not even.
You are not wrong. Especially in the SEC, football is king in the SEC. You can get what you need.
LSU might be 2 or 3 in the country in facilities. Like, nobody. We're in the worlds of the Alabamas and the A&Ms and the Clemsons. Like, there ain't a whole lot of people on the planet competing for facilities. And you know me, I think some of that stuff's bullshit. Like the lazy river around the dorm and the water slides and the putt-putt golf. Like, this is bullshit. We're trying to teach these guys to be grown men. And, those things are fun to go to Disneyland and do. We ain't doing this shit every day. All right? Get your ass up, go to school, go to work.
Agreed.
I think that stuff's ridiculous, but I'm not the guy making those decisions.
I'll tell you what I've been told about that. They do that to keep the kids around the football facility. That way they want to be there all the time.
I know the reason why.
Yeah.
But I still hate it. Like, I know the guy that paid to have the barbershop put in at UT Knoxville. Like, I know that man. Okay? Yeah. And my first thought was, why don't you just pay the local barber down the street to cut everybody's hair? Now you're keeping like a small business open and running, okay? Like, come on, man. Like, there's like 20 barbers around Knoxville that would rather have that business. Let's just say we'll just pay for everybody's haircut, and it's just part of your athletic scholarship.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that easy. I think the biggest thing, of course, is keeping them at the football facility. That way they're not out in trouble and all that kind of mess.
No. But I also think that's impermissible benefits if you're doing what I suggest. And if you bring somebody in who's donating their time, then that's not impermissible.
Well, and then you just hire, whoever the best barber is in Knoxville, you hire them to come over and work for the university.
Yeah.
Problem solved. But, I understand where you're coming from.
I don't like that shit.
No, of course not.
Because I run one of those small-ass stores in a big city with a school. and I would like, if you're going to throw money out, let's not give it all to one person. Let's give it to the kids and let them go out and get their own damn haircuts and support the community.
Yes. No, I am not against that at all. Not against that at all. Let's move off of this. Let's talk about a couple other topics in college football, and then we'll get into the NFL stuff. Next topic on the board, Fresno State, of course, lost Kalen DeBoer, their head coach, to Washington. That was not a huge surprise because DeBoer, of course, has been successful at Fresno State. He was successful as Indiana's offensive coordinator. He was successful as the OC at Fresno under Jeff Tedford. And now they're talking about possibly bringing Jeff Tedford back to be the head coach again. Tedford resigned a couple of years ago because of health issues. Now, those health issues have been resolved for the most part, from what I understand. Tedford let it be known a few weeks ago that he was ready to get back into coaching, and he had put his name out there just to get some feelers to see exactly if anybody might be interested in bringing him back. This won't be an immediate thing because of the laws in the state of California. He is still technically an employee of Fresno State. He's like some kind of a consultant, advisor, whatever role with the football program. But with DeBoer going to Washington, he can step right back in. So they'll have to post the job, and then he'll interview for it, quote unquote. But it looks right now like Jeff Tedford is going to come back to be the football coach at Fresno State, and I'm excited about this. Like he had his most success when DeBoer was his offensive coordinator, but I also think that Tedford taught DeBoer a lot about offense. Tedford has been an offensive guy forever. He's been awesome. I like this. You got a feeling on it?
No, I mean, I like the hire. I don't have any issues with that. I think he was really good when he was there beforehand, and bringing him back in is a great move. I just can't picture anybody else doing it, but I would need to know the name and think, is this what I want, and do I like it or do I not? But that's it.
Yeah, no, I certainly feel you. I think Tedford back at Fresno State could be good to at least give them some solid foundational footing for a little while until he's ready to actually hang it up and ride off into the sunset. But I do think that this is a good way for him to go out. If he's done coaching after this, I think this makes it even better. The next one that I wanted to hit on, Virginia Tech found their guy. Of course, they had reached out to Billy Napier. They reached out to Dave Clawson. Napier took the Florida job. Clawson signed an extension with Wake Forest. They ended up going with defensive coordinator Brent Pry from Penn State. Details of the contract aren't finalized yet. They'll end up releasing it because they are, in fact, a public school. But Whit Babcock, I think, got a good one here. Brent Pry has been coaching for 30 years. He's 51 years old. He's been with James Franklin for forever, since the Vanderbilt days. And he's had a really great defense for a long time. And I think it makes sense that Virginia Tech, who after going with Frank Beamer for so long and being known as a defensive football team, they went back to try and be an offensive football team with Justin Fuente. When that did not work out, now they're going back to the defensive side of the ball. And I totally can get down with that. They're doing a introductory news conference, press conference, whatever you want to call it, at 9 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. But they've already announced this. Like Brent Pry is going to be the guy, and you look at all of his defenses at Penn State. They've been awesome. I mean, he's had top 25 units in total defense in 8 of the past 12 seasons. 4 at Penn State, 3 at Vanderbilt, 1 at Georgia Southern. They're 7th in scoring defense this season, allowing only 16.8 per game. That was the strength of their team, was their defense. I kind of like this for Virginia Tech. You get a guy that, it doesn't have a lot of buzz. He's not flashy, whatever, but he knows one side of the ball, and you think because he's been around for 30 years doing this is somebody that can build a program, and I like it.
I'll wait and see. Not that I dislike it, I just don't, I'm not going to make a judgment off of his hire yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, none of these, we don't know that any of these are actually going to be successful. I think we feel good about Brian Kelly, and I think we feel good about Lincoln Riley. But at the end of the day, there's been quote-unquote home runs before that just did not pan out. I'm not going to say this is a home run, but I like the direction they went. I think this is good. I think he is somebody that looks like he will fit in Blacksburg. Again, I'm going to drive you crazy, cultural fit, whatever. But I could totally see him fitting in Blacksburg. So that'll move us off of college football for the day. Now we got some NFL to discuss. Every week I ask Chris 4 questions to recap the week that was in the NFL. And of course, Chris was out last week. He was doing the Disney thing, but we did still have NFL games. So let's go through this. Let's see what happened. I watched
a lot of NFL football, and I was home all day Sunday.
I figured you probably were. Let's talk about the best games of the weekend. The first one to me was Raiders Cowboys on Thanksgiving, 36-33 in overtime. The Cowboys did not look great. They turned it on later and found a way to stay in that ball game. But I thought that was a fun game. Did you have any on Sunday that you felt were really good games?
Well, yeah, both of mine were on Sunday. So I'm going to tell you about the Cowboys game for a minute, okay?
All right.
Cowboys game pissed me the hell off because I'm sitting at a lounge in Disney, and I don't know the name of this place. I throw out the place because they made a damn good drink. Trying to watch games and hanging out. We're relaxing. We're resting. It's Thanksgiving Day. And they got the Cowboys game on, no problem. I thought it was pretty boring, to be honest. Whatever. It was close at the end. It was close late, but it wasn't close during the game. Like, the Raiders get out to a big lead, and then it's just kind of Cowboys trying to keep up. So I guess the close of it was fine. But then they go into overtime, and I'm thinking, these sons of bitches, just get this thing over with because they got one TV, and I just want to watch the Egg Bowl. That's all. I just want to flip it to the college game, and this game is a dud. And they wouldn't turn it on for me. So that pissed me off. So it's not this game. Let me tell you what game it is. I got two. I really liked. I really liked the Chargers-Vikings game up until about 4 minutes left in the game where the two most explosive players on each team both get hurt. And then the game just kind of crawled to an end in an embarrassing fashion. But up until then, the 49ers-Vikings, did I say Chargers-Vikings? I meant 49ers-Vikings. Up until then, you're talking about an unbelievable football game, I thought, was the most fun game. And then I think the Bucs-Colts game, that first quarter was pretty rough to watch. Pretty slow start. By the second half, this game got kicked into gear, and that was a really fun football game.
That's actually the second one that I had written down, Bucs 38-31 over the Colts. Touchdown, Leonard Fournette, 28-yard run with what, like 20 seconds left in the game, something like that. Definitely awesome. I mean, Tom Brady turned it on in the second half. It was definitely boring to start with, but that was the one that I had my eyes on. And then the Monday night game was boring for the most part, but exciting ending, of course. Russell Wilson, that was just, it's so painful to watch. Of course, Russ doesn't look right.
What happened? What happened to Russell?
I don't know. I mean, I know that he's still injured. Like, he's still dealing with an injury.
He's not injured. He hurt his little finger, okay? Like, he's not injured. This guy's not playing with, like, a blowed-out shoulder and, like, busted up ankles, okay? This is bullshit. He's perfectly healthy. He's got a boo-boo on his finger, and he sucks. I mean, he sucks. This guy used to run for a bunch of yards, and now he don't run at all. Well, your legs aren't hurt.
Yeah. You're not wrong about that.
I think he's gotten fat and lazy by not playing for a couple of weeks, and now he just blows at football.
It was painful to watch. I will say that. It was incredibly painful.
That's awful football. They're really close to the team that lost it for the week for me. They're not, but they're really, really close for who lost the week.
I did have them written down as one of my options on that. Well, let's move into next question. Most surprising result of the weekend. I'm going to tell you one of mine. Giants 13, Eagles 7. I thought the Eagles had kind of turned this thing around, and what happened? I mean, good gracious.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I kept looking to see, like, what was the injury? What was, I know that Jalen Hurts is got like an ankle injury or whatever, but like, I thought they had turned this thing around a little bit and they had some explosive players and all this, but like, I have no idea what happened.
I'm going to tell you this, Jalen better start grabbing something because he looked terrible at the beginning of this game. Now, here's what's weird. Towards the end of the game, he goes on a couple of drives, and then Jalen Rieger gets hit in the face with the football 4 times in the end zone, drops all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like Hurts has played the worst game he's played maybe since coming into the NFL. And then, still, because the Giants are terrible and the Eagles' defense is pretty good, you're in this thing, and you see a touchdown and walk it off. And you lead the drive twice. You lead the drive down twice. And you can't get it because you're hitting guys in the face with the football, and they can't catch them.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying.
Do you think this is the city of Philadelphia sold their soul to win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles when they had an opportunity, and this is the price? Like, no. You get nothing forever. You said all you needed was one. You got your one. Now go back to the abyss.
It's like, well, you're always going to be in the abyss. I mean, this team is like 4-7. It's not like they were a great team anyway.
I can't explain some of these drops. Jalen Reagor was a really good receiver coming out. And think about the receivers that went behind him. Right now, somebody needs to be looking at old Howie and with one eye on the bridge and one eye on him, thinking, you think he can swim?
So here was my problem with that initially was Jalen Reagor is absolutely a speed demon, right? He's a fast guy, but one of his problems in college, we talked about this on that NFL draft night, he drops the ball. Like, we talked about that. And they just assumed that they could coach that out of him. That, he'll get better. We've got the small sample size, but we know he can fly.
But I understand those drops to be like, when you're throwing those deep balls, man, some of those over-the-shoulder catches are tough. Like when you're running in stride to get the ball. These were not that. These were slants across the end zone where his chest, his numbers are squared to the quarterback. You're literally just playing catch at this point. And all you have to do is catch one of them. Then multiple were dropped. At what point in time are you hurt and you say, look, I'm not that accurate of a quarterback. If you're not going to catch the ones I get to you, I just can't throw to you.
Yeah, I can't pass you the ball.
Somebody's got to go to the coach and say, I don't call his number again because I'm checking down or I'm audible now. I'm not throwing to that man because I don't hit everybody all the damn time. When I do, you can't be 0 for me catching the ball. All right?
Yes.
Like 0 for 3 ain't going to cut it. You got to catch some of them.
No, you're not wrong on that. I'd be pissed. Did you have one that was a most surprising result?
I'm going to give the most surprising result and my biggest winner. But no, you know what? No. My most surprising result is the Bills beating the hell out of the Saints. That was it. I thought the Bills could win, but this Saints team has been on a little bit of a losing streak. I don't know in our entire life of watching Sean Payton's career, has he ever lost 3 or 4 games in a row? I think this is game number 3 in a row.
So you're just talking about the Saints overall as the most surprising result, because after watching the Saints for a few weeks with Trevor Siemian at quarterback,
like, because
this wasn't a surprise.
Well, hey, but we've also seen teams look like shit, and then the next week look like superheroes, right?
True.
Like, we've seen that, so just because you look like shit recently doesn't mean I expect you to look like shit every week. I just don't. I think you're going to be fine most of the time. I didn't see them getting blown out in this game. I saw the Bills winning. At no point in time were the Saints a threat to even do anything special at all. I think that was surprising.
I've got a surprising result. Dolphins 33, Panthers 10. Cam Newton was horrific in this game. 5 out of 21 passing. The fact that the Panthers defense allowed Tua to carve them up the way that he did. I think he only missed 4 passes on the day. Read a stat that it was the best, most accurate passing day by an NFL quarterback in like a decade and a half. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous what Tua was able to do against that Panthers defense, and I just did not expect that from Matt Rule's team at all. Like, I know that they got some injuries, they got some guys out, all that good stuff, and of course they lost Christian McCaffrey for the rest of the year in this game, but like, I didn't see the Dolphins beating them like this. Like, I actually bet on the Panthers -2 last week, thinking that the Dolphins were going to be the same team that they've always been, and the Panthers could do nothing to stop them.
Well, let me tell you what I thought when I saw this result. I thought Matt Rule was coming to Baton Rouge when I saw that. So that looked like a team that hadn't practiced at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
And that looked like a guy that said, maybe college is a lot more fun. So, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one? A winner or a loser?
Who lost the weekend?
Who did I say lost the weekend? I told you I was going to say somebody. I got to find my list.
I don't think you told us. You were talking about the Saints, but I don't think.
I said I was gonna say the Seahawks, but they're not. Oh, never mind. I don't need the list. God damn it. The Cleveland fucking Browns lost the weekend, Gary. You wait all year. How long has it been since you've had a big time Sunday night football game where you are the star of the show? You are hosting football for the NFL. Well, you're not hosting it, you're on the road, but you're one of the teams playing in the biggest game of the weekend. You've earned that clout. And Baker Mayfield comes out with one of the shittiest performances I may have ever seen.
I'm wanting to pull up the play-by-play here, like the drives.
I mean, just god awful.
Because you are not wrong about this. It was just a complete comedy of errors.
A Herculean effort by the defense, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Herculean effort by the defense. And your offense gets nothing.
All right, so here's what we had in the first half, okay? Missed field goal, punt, field goal by the Ravens, punt, another field goal by the Ravens, a fumble, a Ravens interception, a Browns field goal, a Ravens interception, a Browns fumble, a Ravens interception, a Browns punt after 3 and out, and then the end of the half. That was the first half.
The word shit show doesn't even begin to describe that game.
Yeah, it was about as bad as you could get. It was as bad as
one point in time where the Ravens were about to punt. They were about to punt, Gary. And we lined up a normal punt. And then they ran another offensive lineman on. And so we wanted to swap guys out, right? They substituted, so we could substitute. And then before we could get everybody off the field, they ran a fake. They got the fake. Then they were, the play didn't happen. You snapped the ball before we actually set the ball because you got to give Cleveland an opportunity to. Okay. So that whole thing happens, right? So we have a stop and play because of the penalty. Now we're going into punt safe. Okay? The Ravens get up to snap the football, and I don't know if they're going to punt it or run a play, but I know this. Cleveland had 27 players on the field. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? So we wasted timeout right there, just after a penalty where the whole thing stopped. And then they finally set up to run a play instead of punt. No problem. We still, after the timeout, get called for 12 men on the field. And they get the first down by just snapping the football. I don't know who to throw into the abyss. I don't know who to kick into the lake.
We thought that Kevin Stefanski was the adult in the room that was needed in Cleveland, and I don't know that it's necessarily his fault. I really wonder sometimes if that entire football organization is just completely cursed. Like, I really do wonder.
The argument that I got from a very trusted friend who is a very positive thinking Browns fan. Okay, he's a positive influence in my life, and I love him dear. And he's still completely sold on Baker's the guy. He's just hurt right now, and I think Baker's faking injuries because if I'm not hurt and I look this bad, boy, it's bad. So, he says this has to be miscommunication between special teams coordinator and the defensive coordinator. It just has to be. The defensive coordinator is trying to run defensive players out because we think they're going to fake it. And the special team guy is still running special team guys out because he thinks, well, let's just run a safe punt. And everybody's trying to send different guys on. And which makes logical sense. My first thought was that somebody just slipped a bunch of edibles into the coaching room and everybody is just baked out of the gourd and didn't know what the hell's going on. And we're about 45 minutes into the game, which is right when the edibles are going to kick in, and it just turns into a shit show. I would say this, not losing that game, it wasn't the loss that ruined my Sunday. It was waiting all day with anxious breath for my football team.
Yes.
To play on Sunday night. And the first hour and a half of time that elapsed in my life, I just would rather have walked outside and just walked into the Mississippi and just kept on walking.
I put the Rams down as the team that lost the weekend because the Packers had a bunch of injuries, all that kind of mess, and they still let Aaron Rodgers go crazy on them. And the Rams now have 4 losses, so we'll see what happens with them. I do, we talked about the Browns. Let's talk about the Steelers for a little bit. The Steelers get beat 41-10 and against the Bengals, and this is what the Bengals did to them in the first half. Bengals started out the ball game with a 10-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. On the next drive, Ben Roethlisberger throws an interception, which leads to a field goal. So now you're down 10-0. Then you drive the ball down, you get a field goal, you get a little momentum, and then you give up a 6-play, 75-yard touchdown drive that makes it 17-3. Then you got a punt, and then you give up a 14-play, 84-yard touchdown drive to make it 24-3. And then you go 3 and out again. You finally get something to go your way. You get Joe Burrow to throw you the ball, and the very next
in the red
play,
zone, the end zone, they're about to score.
And
That's a huge turnover.
The very next play, they throw a pick 6 to make the game 31-3 and completely unreachable at that point. And that was the first half for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The game was over at that point. I turned it off. I couldn't watch it anymore.
So this is one of the 2 teams. I think this is the team that won the weekend, by the way, is the Bengals.
Yeah.
This division is so tight right now. I think the Browns are already looking for the draft, so we're out of it. I think the Steelers are out of it. But the Bengals and the Ravens, man, I think they're going to be neck and neck the whole way through. And you cannot lose divisional games. You just can't. And I thought that was not just winning that game, but being able to kick the shit out of a team that has bullied you for a long time and kind of firmly plant yourself in the second place of that division. And with an eye on first. I think has them as the winner of the weekend. I have one other winner. Talked about him a little bit earlier. I don't know when or what was the reason now, but the 49ers also, they were completely out of the playoff race in that division 3 weeks back. And now they've won 3 games in a row, and they are right there with everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you. Let's see. Patriots beat up on the Titans. What was I had my scores pulled up. I don't even know what the score was.
32-13, 35-13.
36-15, 35-16. It's not, whatever it was. It was a beating.
Yeah, it's something of that nature, and I think the Titans scored real late one of those scores. So it wasn't even that close.
The Patriots at this point in the season have the best point differential in the NFL. They are plus 146 on the season and sitting at 8-4, won 6 straight. They're awesome. This team is awesome. Mac Jones combined with that defense and that running attack, it didn't matter that Ramondre Stevenson is out with an injury. You got running backs for days, and you've actually got guys that can catch the football, and you got a guy that can actually get it to them. And they don't have to hit explosive plays all the time. They just have to be somewhat efficient on offense, and then the defense will do the rest. And you saw it in this game. The Patriots, to me, were who won the weekend. They are, they're great right now. They're half a game back of the Ravens. Ravens are 8-3, and the Patriots are 8-4 right now. Right behind them is the Buffalo Bills at 7-4. And, of course, we've got the Bills and Patriots on Monday night that we're going to talk about here in just a second. You ready to jump into the big games of the week?
Yep, let's go.
Let's go ahead and do this. We'll kind of fly through this stuff. Thursday night football. Here, hold on. Let's do this. Last week I went 4-5. Chris did not have picks last week, but it moves our overall record to I'm 54-48 on the season. Chris is 38-55. Thursday night, Cowboys at the Saints. The odds, of course, brought to you by BetUS, where the game begins. Go sign up over at BetUS.com. There is a link in the description for it. The Saints are a 4.5-point home dog on Thursday night, total of 47.5. The Cowboys 4-1 against the spread, their last 5 on the road. The Saints are 8-1 against the spread, their last 9 at home against Dallas, which, of course, spans a long time because these two do not play all the time. But the Saints typically have a lot of success against the Cowboys, whether they've got, their starting quarterback or not. The Saints look awful right now. There is no possible way that I will go with the Saints in this. I think the Cowboys are pissed off about the way that they played on Thanksgiving. When I look at just overall numbers, the Cowboys are the significantly better team at every spot on the field. I am going to roll Cowboys minus 4.5 here because I think that they are going to be able to handle this.
Man, I think I'm going to also. I don't like it. And this is just a Sean Payton thing. Like I said earlier, at some point in time, Sean Payton's going to win a game. He's not losing 5 in a row. Well, he's lost 4 in a row. Okay? So, I think the Saints are going to find a way to win this thing, which means that should take them. I have no idea how they're going to do this. If Alvin doesn't play, I'm going to roll with the Cowboys. Everything in my brain says this is foolish, but I can't in good conscience take the Saints.
I feel the exact same way. 12 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to the Atlanta Falcons as 11-point favorites on the road. Total of 50.5 here. And Atlanta, even with their win against the Jaguars last week, I cannot find a way.
God, they look rough.
Oh, yeah. I can't find a way for them to win this game. Tampa Bay is number 1 in total DVOA. Atlanta is number 32. This Atlanta defense is bad. This Atlanta offense is bad. And Tampa Bay is great at both. I think Tampa Bay should be favored by like 2 touchdowns here. Now, I know that people always talk about, you see a double-digit favorite in the NFL, you probably need to bet against it. But I just don't see it. I'm going to roll Bucs here, minus 11. I think they got that Colts game off their back. I think they're going to be fine this week. I'm definitely rolling with the Bucs on this one.
So I'm going to do the same thing, but tell you why it scares me. It's not the double digits in the NFL. It's I really do believe that the Bucs might be in just win, move on mode for the rest of the season until the playoffs get here. The problem is I don't foresee a way this Falcons team is going to stand up and play defense and stop them. Tom Brady in this offense can look like crap for 3.5 quarters, and in 2 or 3 drives of half a quarter, score 3 touchdowns, and just boom, 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 and then it's over. It just all gets quicksands on you, and I don't know what to do with that.
The Falcons, by the way, 1-4 at home this year, 4-2 on the road. Somehow this team is 5-6, and yet they're the least efficient team in all of the NFL. Like, it makes 0 sense to me.
All right, so I don't know the number exactly. Road teams have been covering like maniacs.
Oh yeah.
Not just covering and winning. If you look at the lines now, Vegas is giving nobody anything for home field anymore. It used to be a blanket 3 points. I don't think you're getting a single point anymore for home field.
No, I agree with you 100%. The Falcons' wins this year, by the way, they've got 5 of them. They are over the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Saints, and the Jags. That's their wins. And when they play against good football teams, they lost 43-3 to the Cowboys. They lost 25-0 to the Patriots. They got beat 34-30 by Washington. They lost to the Bucs earlier in the season already, 48-25, and they lost in that first week to the Eagles, 32-6. I don't see how the Falcons do it, but we'll see. We will see. All right, so we are both rolling Bucs minus 11 on that one. Let's move into another 12 p.m. Central Time game. The Cardinals headed to the Bears. The Bears are 9-point underdogs at home. Looks like Justin Fields is going to be back for the Bears this week, even though he's got fractured ribs. Looks like he's going to be good to go. He's been practicing, all that good stuff. Arizona 5-0 straight up and against the spread. Their last 5 on the road. I don't know what to make of this Bears team. If Justin Fields gets hurt, the Cardinals could absolutely run away with this thing. Hopkins, of course, still dealing with an injury, etc. But whatever this team is doing, whether they've got their star players in or not, they just have some kind of a culture built up where they can score points and they can put teams away. This Cardinals team's really good. But I'm gonna go with that Bears defense. I know that they got guys out. I understand that, but when I look at the overall team, Matt Nagy is not a good head coach at all. But they stay in tight games, especially at home. Cardinals going up to Chicago. It's going to be cold. Give me the Bears plus the 9. Like, this looks like a touchdown game to me. I could totally see Arizona blowing them out, but I don't think so. I think the Bears are going to hang in this ball game. Kyler Murray might or might not play. I'm going to ride with the Bears on it.
Yeah, golly, we're agreeing, but it's strictly on a Murray thing. I don't think Murray's going to play. If Murray plays, I think I like the Cardinals because the Bears team is a fiasco. But I think Chicago's going to play with a little bit of pride. At some point in time, Mac's out for the year, right? You don't know if your young rookie quarterback is going to be the guy to be healthy or not. But they've had skilled players step up. They've had other defensive. Roquan has stepped up. Big-time guys are making plays. I just feel like it's too many points. I'm with you. We see this way too much alike. That scares the shit out of me. But I'm not laying 9 points to anybody in Soldier Field right now. I know this Bears team is bad, but I think that play still matters.
I think so too. Especially this late in the season. I think it'll be a tight game. 12 p.m. Central Time. Again, this is our last one in the noon slot. Chargers at the Bengals. The Bengals are a 3-point favorite, total of 50.5. And these two teams, really, really close as far as total DVOA. Cincinnati, number 18. The Chargers, number 16 in that spot. But here's the difference for me. As far as offensive efficiency, it's Cincinnati, number 21 in total DVOA. The Chargers' defense is number 23. So pretty similar right there. Cincinnati does have explosive capabilities, but as far as their variance goes, they are highly volatile. It is all or nothing sometimes with them. On the other side, the Chargers offense, number 2 in total efficiency, and the Cincinnati defense is number 16. I think the Bengals did everything right last week against Pittsburgh. I think the Chargers can come in there and beat them. I'm going to take the Chargers plus 3. I know that, both teams, of course, dealing with injuries at this point in the season, but I think the Chargers can surprise these guys. So I will take the Chargers at plus 3 here.
I don't understand the efficiency numbers. I've watched the Chargers 3 weeks straight look like complete shit. I don't care what the efficiency numbers say. They don't look good. Herbert has been one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. I think this defense for the Bengals is much improved. And I think Joe Burrow and the boys on offense are going to find ways to bet big plays, put up points, and win this game. I think they cover.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. So we finally got a difference of opinion on this. So you're rolling Bengals. I've got the Chargers. We'll move on from there. 3:25 p.m. Central Time. And my brother, the Ravens, headed to the Steelers. Steelers are 4.5-point underdogs at home. Total of 44 on this one. Baltimore 4-0-1 against the spread their last 5 at Pittsburgh. However, Pittsburgh 6-3 straight up in their last 9 against the Ravens. This is always a tight ball game. Typically, if this thing is over a field goal, I go with the dog. I ain't doing that this go-round. There are too many injuries for the Steelers. You look at the numbers on it, and no, there's not a giant discrepancy between the two. But TJ Watt, of course, now on the COVID-19 list, etc., I just don't see how Pittsburgh gets this thing back rolling right now, especially not against this Ravens team that is at the top of the division, at the top of the conference at this point. I'm going to take Lamar and that running attack for the Ravens, and I think that defense is going to be able to slow down Big Ben. They're going to get after him. The offensive line is still weak for the Steelers, and you don't want that going up against a Ravens team that really knows how to get a pass rush going. So I will take the Ravens, -4.5.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens too. I don't think you have to be special at all to make this Steelers offense look terrible. And this Ravens defense Sunday night took that thing up a notch. They caused a lot of those problems with the Browns. The Browns kind of made themselves look stupid a lot, but the Ravens kind of made some of that stuff happen. This was one of the best running teams in the country, and the Ravens just completely shut that down. I think they're going to shut down Najee. You shut down Najee, you stop this offense, because Ben is basically just a standing telephone pole. He can't move. He can barely throw. Every throw is going to be 6 yards in front of him on a quick slant. It might be accurate. It might not. About 30% of them are going to be catchable from the defense if you just go for the ball. I just don't see a way the Steelers can hang in this game. I'm with you. Normally it's a field goal game. This ain't a normal year. The Steelers have done a very bad job preparing for life after Ben.
I know you are 100% right about that. They have not built that roster in a way that can be successful in the NFL. You were talking about the Ravens shutting down the Browns' running game. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries for 20 yards. That's 2.9 a clip. Nick Chubb, 8 for 16. That's 2.0 per rush. Overall, the Browns were 17 carries for 40 yards. That's 2.4 per attempt. That ain't good, and there is no reason to believe that the Steelers will be any better. Without any threat of a run, I don't see any way that the Steelers stay in this ball game. So, yeah, both riding Ravens on that one. Now we move to 3:25 p.m. Central Time on the other coast. The 49ers at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 3.5-point underdogs at home. Total of 45.5. The 49ers 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. The Seahawks do not look like the same team, and Russell Wilson doesn't look like the same quarterback. I don't even have to go through numbers here. The numbers would tell you that this line should actually be around 2, but with no real home field advantage anywhere in the NFL, the 49ers are playing significantly better. There is no reason to bet on the Seahawks at this point in the season. There's just not. So I will ride with the 49ers as a road favorite and expect Jimmy G to continue doing what he's been doing. He looks like a significantly improved quarterback.
Yep, 49ers, one of the hottest teams in the country. They are rolling along. That defense looks good. And you know who looks real shitty? That's the Hulk's offense. And I just think they're going to go in Seattle, and they're going to eat them up.
I agree. You look at this.
I think Pete Carroll might be done after this year. I don't think they're going to fire him, but I do think he quits.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
I think he has lost. I don't know if he's lost the team, but they aren't. And I don't think this is on Pete. It's on who's ever putting these rosters together. They have a collection of fantasy stars at skill positions, and that's it. They've got 2 good receivers and a really good quarterback, and nothing else. Nothing else.
I mean, they got Jamal Adams on defense, but I mean,
one defensive player is worthless here. You know that. You know that.
I know. It's putrid. The 49ers rushing attack should be able to have a field day against that Seattle defensive line.
Yeah.
I don't see any way that Seattle
now I do say this. I'd feel a lot now, no matter what, I'm taking the 49ers. I feel a whole lot better if Debo plays.
Well, of course. But I still think that, Elijah Mitchell, that bunch, I still think they got enough guys.
No, they've been amazing.
Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. That'll move us to the Sunday night football game, and the Broncos heading to the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 10-point favorite here, total of 47. Kansas City 5-0 straight up their last 5 against the Broncos. They have been playing significantly better. They were the worst team on defense in the NFL for the majority of the first half of the season, and over the last few weeks, they have actually moved up to number 26 in total DVOA on defense. So even though those numbers were insanely bad early, they're not so bad anymore. Now, at the same time, I think the Broncos have got some guys back healthy. The Broncos look significantly improved on offense as of late. I think 10 points might be a little bit too much here. So I'm going to ride with the Broncos plus the 10. It's a divisional game. I think the Broncos can stay within this number, even on the road on Sunday night. I'm not over the point of not trusting Kansas City in big spots. So I will take the Broncos at plus 10 here.
Well, I'm still in the world of not trusting Kansas City in big spots. So I've made a lot of money off betting against them this year, and they've gotten me a couple of times, but not enough for me to get off this horse. So I think the Denver defense looks great, man. I thought after they lost Vaughn, they were going to go backwards. Brother, he might have been an anchor holding them back. They look young and fast, and they are getting after people. And that secondary, if you make a mistake throwing the football, they are going to take it.
Yo, Pat Surtain has been just ridiculous lately. 2 interceptions last week, 1 return for a touchdown.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm with you 100%. 100%. Monday Night Football, the Patriots head to the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills are a 3-point favorite at home, total of 44. The Patriots have covered 5 straight games. They look fantastic. These are the 2 biggest point differential teams in the NFL. When they beat teams, they beat the absolute piss out of them. 146 or plus 146 for the Patriots, plus 144 for the Bills, and the Bills have 1 less game. So that'll tell you a little bit about this. When you look at the overall matchup here, I just think that the Patriots are on a roll, the likes of which we haven't seen from them in quite some time. This is the number 2 total DVOA team against the number 3. That's the Patriots number 2 and the Bills number 3. I trust at this New England offense against this defense. I trust this New England defense against the Bills offense. I think that we're going to see a Patriots outright win. The Patriots are going to take back over what they lost last season when the Bills were able to finally win that division after so long. It seems like a personal game to me. From everything that I've read coming out of Foxborough, it looks like the Patriots have been pointing at this one for a little bit, even though they've, of course, they take it a game at a time, but this one is pretty important. I think the Patriots are going to win the game outright, so I will certainly take the 3.
I'm with you. I do think my only fear here is streaks, right? Like all good things come to an end. At some point in time, you're not going to win them all. You're going to have a bad game because that's what we've seen in the NFL. No one is great. Everybody's different levels of good or bad. Patriots are definitely on that top tier of good side right now, but they're not above coming out and looking bad in the game, which is the only thing that scares me is at some point in time we're going to see them have a bad game. I'm going to take the points. If I get a head start and they don't play a bad game, I know I'm going to win the bet because I believe they're going to win the game.
So we're both riding Patriots. So we only disagree on the Chargers and the Bengals. I can see it. You and I tend to see football.
I can't believe the numbers have the Chargers being that good in efficiency. Have you watched them play the last 4 weeks of football?
Yeah, I've watched the Chargers.
2 out of 3 of those weeks, they look awful. How does that work? How does the math work with that?
You got me. You got me.
Herbert was one of. He literally set a record for least I don't know like worst quarterback QBR or whatever it was. Like a 3-week span or something. How does that equate to the most efficient offense in football?
Let's see. Hold on. I'm pulling up Herbert right now. He's actually number 9 overall this season in quarterback efficiency.
I don't understand how. I don't get that.
He's able to draw a lot of defensive pass interferences. I know that much.
That helps with efficiency?
He throws an incredibly catchable ball. He's got 24 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I know he does. That's why he's got so many interceptions.
Yeah. Let's see. He's got 10 interceptions.
It's a real catchable football.
He's got 10 picks. But Tom Brady's got 8. Patrick Mahomes has 11.
No. See, I've had some people try to talk some of that Tom Brady interception bullshit on me earlier too. Let me tell you something. Go back and look. Go back and watch Herbert's picks. Watch Pat Mahomes' picks, and then go look at all of Tom's picks. He has thrown about 3 interceptions that were interceptions. All of the rest were balls that hit offensive players in the hands. They got tipped up, and then they got picked off. When I say almost all of them, I mean almost all of them. Okay? Not, well, that happens to everybody sometimes. No. It's almost all of them. If you take the tipped balls and just make them all incompletions, I'm telling you, he is running away MVP. It ain't close.
I will tell you this. Justin Herbert is number 1 in the NFL in QBR this season.
Yes. How does that happen? I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Here's the rest of them. Okay,
I love the guy, and I love the kid. I want him to be good. Let's not make bones about this. It's not a guy I hate. I don't get it. I don't know how the numbers add up because I watched them play 4 weeks straight. The one game they won, he didn't look great.
Yeah.
The 3 games they lost, he looked god awful.
Matt Stafford is number 2. Aaron Rodgers is number 3. Tom Brady is 4. Kyler Murray is 5. And then Josh Allen is 6. And then Jimmy G is number 7. So, yeah.
They got one win against a team that I think in Philadelphia is not a good football team at all.
Agreed.
And they got like 3 losses out of that last 4-game stretch. I don't, and I think he's looked bad in those games.
Yeah. But while we may think that he looks bad, the numbers apparently add up to be pretty good. So, I mean, you got me.
That's why I don't trust you number guys. They're all liars.
Let's give out these Super Contest picks.
Let's roll.
All right, so NFL Week 13 Super Contest picks, our best bets for the week against the spread. Last week, Chris, I went 0-5 last week. 0-5.
Crap.
Dreadful. And even with the 0-5, I am still 34-26 against the number this season. So I've been okay. You are sitting at 27, 26-2 on the year. I will go ahead and start off with my first pick, and I'm taking the Pats +3 at the Bills. I think they win the game outright, so I will certainly take the head start there. Give me the Patriots and Mac Jones with that defense. I'm all over it. Give me the Pats +3.
All right. We're going to agree on that one. I'll give you my second pick. My favorite pick, 49ers -3.5 at the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks team is dead. And I think this 49ers team is rolling.
I could totally see that. My next one will be Sunday night. I'm taking the Broncos +10 at the Chiefs. I think this should be more like a touchdown. The Broncos have looked significantly better here lately. Like you said, defense is rolling. Give me the Broncos +10 to keep this a relatively tight ball game.
All right, I'm going with the team that hasn't looked great against the team that's looked god-awful. The Rams need a win in the most desperate way, and the Jaguars are just a slump buster to give it to you. I am laying 13 points, and I don't know that it matters. I think this Jaguars team was bad, and I think the Rams are going to kick the crap out of them.
That Rams team is at home for that one, right?
Yes, sir. That's in L.A.
That would make sense.
And that'll be a real home game because Jacksonville fans ain't going to come out to it.
No, that does make sense. That Chargers game that we just talked about, Chargers-Bengals, I'm going to take the +3 with the Chargers. I don't think the Bengals were as good as they showed last week. I think last week everything hit perfectly for them. I think the Chargers are better than the Steelers. I know we just saw that game a couple weeks ago, but I still think the Chargers can go on the road and get this win. So I will take the 3-point head start, and I would not be surprised if this comes down to a field goal one way or the other, but I do think that the Chargers can win the game, so I'll take the head start.
Wow, that shocks me, makes me feel even better about that Bengals pick there. All right, you brought up the Steelers, I'm going to go with that Steelers game. I think that Steelers team is dead. I really do. If the Ravens defense has kicked it into we are in playoff mode defense for the rest of the season, then any bad offenses that they play are in big trouble. The Steelers have a bad offense. I think they're in big trouble.
Especially without T.J. Watt on the field. Like he's a game changer on defense. Yeah. So, yeah, most certainly. All right, so Ravens minus 4.5. I will roll with Tom Brady and the Bucs minus 11 at the Falcons. The Falcons, for whatever reason, cannot win at home. We talked about this just a little bit ago in our previews. I think the Bucs are finally rounding into shape. They got it rolling in the second half again last week. But in a dome, I think Tom Brady does what he does, and they will score points galore on this really, really bad Falcons defense. So give me the Bucs minus 11.
Hope you're right on that one. I'm going to give my last one. It is a little bit out of left field here. I think the Houston Texans plus 10 is way too many points for this Colts team. I think the Colts team are better than I originally gave them credit for this year, but they're still not great. And this Texans team plays feisty. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they haven't been getting blown out by anybody.
No, you're not wrong about that, especially when Tyrod came back. This team fights. Okay, you got a bunch of no names that
I don't think
really
that
fight.
Coach is very good, but man, they play hard for him.
Yes,
they play real hard for him.
Yes, they do.
I'm not laying double digits to him with any team, much less a team that is absolutely capable of turning the ball over 3 or 4 times in one game.
No, you certainly got that right. Last game for me, I think the Giants' win over the Eagles last week was a little bit fluky, and the Dolphins seem to have rounded a corner here lately. They've been winning some ball games. They've been looking better since Tua came back from injury. They're getting some other guys healthy again. The offensive line looks better. I will take the Dolphins to cover 3 at home against the New York Giants. You get the Giants out of the cold, bring them down into the heat a little bit in December, and I think the Dolphins can cover the 3 points.
Good boy.
Yeah, so let's do our little recap here. I'm going to ride Patriots plus 3, Broncos plus 10, Chargers plus 3, Bucs minus 11, and the Dolphins minus 3. Chris, you are riding Patriots plus 3, 49ers minus 3.5, the Rams minus 13, Ravens minus 4.5, and the Texans to cover plus 10 against the Colts. All that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, it's been a long show. Let me go ahead and let you out of here, and I will round this thing up.
See you, buddy.
All right, later, buddy. All right. That is going to be the end of Winning Cures Everything for the Wednesday edition of the show. We appreciate you hanging out for so long. I know it's been an hour and 20 minutes almost, whatever it is. Let me go ahead and tell you, go to winningcureseverything.com. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel if you have not already. We are trying to hit that goal. We're very, very close. So hopefully you'll knock it out for us. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure and like the video. Share it out. Tell your friends. Jump into the comments. All of that stuff that you already know to do. And if you're listening on the podcast and you're not already subscribed, make sure and subscribe over there as well. We are attempting to build an empire from the ground up. We're just some local guys that enjoy talking sports that have been doing this for quite some time. So do us a favor, hit subscribe, share the show out, tell your friends, all of that. Go over to BetUS. They are the sponsor for the show. They are America's premier sports book. They are where the game begins. There is a link in the description. You can sign up over there. Of course, BetUS.com, where the game begins. I host the BetUS College Football Show. Chris hosts the Bookmaker Review College Football Show. The links are in the description for those as well. And, of course, make sure and follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. We enjoy talking to everybody that wants to be a part of the show. And we certainly thank you for watching, listening, however you consume the product. We really enjoy doing this, and hopefully you enjoy it as well. With that said, we're going to get out of here. You guys take care of yourself, take care of each other, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter.